na mimi ni mfanyakazi, lakini tena mwanachama wa hiyo, kwa sababu mimi ama contributor. Tuko hapa kulalamika kuhusu benefits zetu zinaenda mahali ambapo wale ambao ni trustee ama board ya zile lab fund and lab trust ni wakora na the politicians. Hakuna hapo wakilishi wa wafanyakazi kama mimi. Kwa hivyo niko na wasiwasi, kwa sababu wakati mnaweka wanasiasa kwa pesa yetu ya uzeeni, mtafanya tukue kama wale wazee wa kitamba ambao hawakuwa na hizi funds, ambapo tukiretire tena tuanze kuuza zile vitu ambazo tulikuwa tunanunua tukiweka kama za watoto wetu na jamii yetu. So we are calling upon the government and upon those leaders of those institutions to change, so that we might have the workers as part of the management of that board, our benefits, the retirement. That is my complaint as a worker.
My name is Atwoli. I'm the National Chief Trustee for the Kenya National Union of Nurses. We are here to express our concerns about the boards managing the two pension schemes, Lab Fund and Lab Trust. The law is very clear on who is supposed to manage the funds for the workers. It says that the workers must be 50% of the board members. But here we have politicians and brokers who are now managing our funds. Just as my colleague has said, then it means our funds will get lost somewhere. And when they get lost somewhere, in old age, it means our workers will suffer. So we are calling upon the new minister who is going to be sworn in today, that her first task is to make sure that they dissolve that board and with immediate effect. Failure to which, we shall not sit back and watch money for the workers disappear. We are going to make sure that we go to court and make sure that those boards are dissolved. Thank you.
As I've said, when we agitated for the nurses of this country within the public service who work in the county governments to join Lab Fund, especially Lab Fund, we were very sure that the fund was going to run in accordance with the rule of the law. As you have heard my colleagues have said, the Retirement Benefit Authority Act and the regulation therein require that every fund that is run on a DC fund must not have less than 50% representative of the workers. We are now having a fund called Lab Fund, where 80% of the nurses are members of Lab Fund, being run by retired politicians, brokers, and relatives of powerful people in the former government. I want to tell them, and I want to tell the CEO of Lab Fund, that I have not been speaking about this thing. Maybe they think that we are sleeping. Time has come for them to know that we are going beyond just asking for the board to be dissolved. We are going to make sure that there's an audit of what has happened when workers are not represented on those boards. It's our money, it is not your money, it is workers' money, and it's our responsibility to protect the workers of this country. I want to tell Dr. Njukuna that immediately you are sworn in, the first job you are going to do today, it is to dissolve the board of Lab Fund and Lab Trust. Because those are our funds. Those are the funds of the Kenyan workers. Those are the funds of the hustler worker in this country. And we are not going to allow the brokers, we are not going to allow the politicians to use that money for their own political and brokerage ends. Enough is enough, and we must ensure that not less than 50% of those board members are coming from the workers. It is very surprising that even one old man in Lab Fund, who is above 80 years, is claiming that he has gone and gotten money and deposited in Lab Fund so that he could represent workers. Now he has become a contributor. Let me tell you, this kind of nonsense is going to stop. And I'm warning you, if you joke around, we will not hesitate to go for your lifestyle audit. We will audit you. We will want to know what you have owned, the time you have associated with Lab Fund, and we will find out where you have gotten that money and that wealth from. We are not going to sleep. So those boards must be dissolved before close of business this week. If that does not happen, we will take the next step next week, move to court, stop those boards from operations, and ask the court to direct for lifestyle audit and an audit of what they have done during the time they have been in office without workers' representatives. And I'm calling upon all Kenyans, all workers' leaders, including the county government workers' union, including even those federations where you are affiliated, including KOTU, including the Public Servants Trade Unions Congress, Public Servants Trade Union Congress. I am asking you to come up and protect workers within the county government. Come and support the Kenya National Union of Nurses to protect the workers. We don't want the retiring poor in this country. We cannot contribute our money, all our working time. And when we retire, you are told your funds were mismanaged because workers were not there. So you have nothing to take home. A DC scheme, you are only paid or remunerated at the time of retirement depending on how your fund performs. And the watchmen of the workers are the leaders of the workers who represent those workers on those boards. When you throw these workers out, how are you managing these schemes? We are telling you, time for choking the workers' money is over. I have woken up. We formed this government. I will fight for workers within government. No one should say I'm in government and I should not fight for workers. I am in government to represent workers. I represent workers. I am the Atwoli of the workers within this government. And therefore, I have begun my work of working for the workers within the UDA government. That one must be very clear. Within Kenya Kwanza, I'm the spokesperson of all workers. And therefore, I have begun my work today of defending the Kenyan workers within government. Thank you. I'm not laughing. This is workers' money. I am told we moved from a house where we were paying 700,000 shillings per month to a house of one of the leading lawyers in this country where we are paying 5 million per month. How do you pay rent of 5 million? We have our own house in Nairobi. We must move away from that house of that lawyer, a senior lawyer of this country. We must move away from that house and go to our own house. We have our own buildings in Nairobi in what we call golf course. We should go to that house at golf course and make it our headquarters. We will not pay rent anymore beginning now. And I'm telling you right now, we will not pay 5 million per month for rent for workers' money, which is supposed to help workers in retirement function. Then they came and concocted another board where they incorporated 2 workers. Those 2 workers left. When they left, they filled all those positions, the politicians and the brokers. They never brought back the workers. That is what is happening.